The horror, torment, and chaos of the Doom series originated from a single dimension, and over time, these forces infected the other realms of creation. From demonic entities to possessed soldiers to entire oceans of lava, this was a place of nightmares. By sheer luck, humanity saw a hero rise across many timelines to fight back against these forces, but who or what did these heroes truly fight? We all know the tales of the Doom Guy, the Marines, and the Doomslayer. But what about the story of the creation of Hell and the entities within? When and where did this dimension originate? What was the ultimate goal of its population? And how does it differ across each game in the Doom series? In this video, we explore the first doomed dimension in all of history: Hell. The Doom timeline and structure between games is messy. The continuity and exposition of the realm are also fragmented, so I will explore Hell as it appears in each game. We begin with the reboot series because it provides an actual origin for the Hell dimension. Way back before anything else existed, there was only the Void. From this void emerged Davoth, the first of all beings, at least the first of what we know currently. Davoth the Creator was the first god, the first known primeval being. With his immense power, Davoth shaped the first dimension and world, Jakad. On this land, he brought life into being and filled the first people, the Jakadians, with burning ambition, free of restraint, and a deep pride for their land. Davoth's love for his people was boundless, and he watched as they fulfilled his vision. They cultivated the land, built temples, and constructed cities. The Creator took great pride in their achievements. The Jakadians had used their intelligence, ambition, and labor to transform the land into a paradise. Their efforts created the clear watered pleasure lakes, the Argent Gardens, and the grand capital city of Amora. However, despite their successes, Davoth eventually realized that, unlike him, the Jakadians were mortal. Though they lived long lives, their mortal flesh could not contain the undying spirit within them. This mortality terrified Davoth. He feared that his beloved Jakadians would one day face extinction, leaving him alone in the paradise they had built. Over time, the paradise of Jakad became a place of sorrow as the eldest of the population succumbed to age. Davoth did not see this as a natural life cycle. Instead, he viewed death itself as a curse. Grieving each death, he searched for a way to cure this affliction, and to find the answer, he withdrew from Jakad and created a second realm, Urduk. Urduk was designed to exist in an anchor state to Jakad, eternally connected, with endless space between them to craft new dimensions. In Urduk, Davoth created a new species, the Maker, and gave them the task to discover the key to immortality, the cure for death. As Davoth returned to Jakad, the Maker, with their machine-like minds, worked together in unison to unravel the mysteries of creation in search of the solution. Meanwhile, the Jakadians also turned their focus to the quest for immortality. Outside of the first dimension, Davoth also experimented with the creation of other dimensions, realms, and new forms of life. Being the first, Jakad was connected to all of these. As the years passed, more and more of Davoth's creations fell to death. His obsession with finding a cure consumed him, and his leadership grew harsh. In his grief and fear of a future without his children, he became impatient and cruel, punishing those who did not devote themselves fully to the search for a cure, and as a consequence, the once glorious paradise of Jakad began to fall from grace. The powerful mind of the Maker eventually uncovered the secrets to immortality. However, they foresaw that this knowledge would be dangerous in the hands of their creator. They feared that Davoth's obsession posed a threat to all life across dimensions, and so they felt that they had to do something. In a strategic assault, the Maker Angels used their advanced technology to generate a seal around Jacquard, a seal that cut the entire dimension off from the rest of those in creation. All Davoth had wanted to do was save the Jacquardians from death, and this betrayal broke him. His sorrow twisted into hatred, and his anger grew into a terrible wrath. His will bent all of Jacquard to his fury, transforming the once vibrant land and its inhabitants. The clear-watered pleasure lakes rotted into the blood swamps, the Palace of Groans consumed the Ardenite gardens, the seas boiled into lava, and the grand cities crumbled. Davoth himself also changed. He became the Dark Lord, and the Jacquardians, once filled with burning ambition, warped into the first demons. In all of this chaos, only one place remained mostly untouched by this wave of corruption: Amora, the capital city. From within its walls, the remaining Jacquardians watched as their paradise decayed into darkness. Jacquard had become a land of pain, torture, and torment. This was no longer paradise. It was hell. As time passed, the technology within Amora allowed its people to defend themselves against the horrors lurking below. In the midst of this tragic downfall, Davoth, now the Dark Lord, discovered a new energy source: Hell Essence. This essence, generated from the endless torment of the realm's victims, gave him the means to sustain Amora's population eternally. In this dark twist of fate, he had attained what he had wanted for his kind, but it had come at the cost of his realm. This torment only intensified as time went on, with the souls of mortals from the other dimensions deemed evil being sent to hell. Across the hellscape, demonic entities were born from this corruption. Titans, lost souls, imps, cyclotic titans, archdemons, and other monstrosities claimed dominion and fed on the hell essence generated from the torment of the mortal souls damned to this dark realm, a realm unbound by the constraints of space or time that burdened the others. From his throne room in Amora, Davoth tested the strength of the seal around his realm. Over time, his attacks began to weaken the foundation of the seal, and cracks began to form. It was through these gateways into the other dimensions that Davoth began to enact his revenge against the Maker who had stolen his dominion over the realms he had created. This came in the form of demonic armies whose sole purpose was to kill and claim as many souls as possible for hell. With each conquest into a new dimension, innocent mortals fell, and from the essence harvested from their pain and torture, Davoth grew stronger. The Maker Angels sensed the rising power of their creator and decided to act before he and his demonic armies could break through into Urduk. In a new war, the warrior Maker entered hell and clashed with Davoth and his demons. At the war's end, Davoth the Dark Lord found himself at the top of the Pyramid of the Lost, a once holy site desecrated by the ancient horrors of this timeless dimension. In this battle between God and Angel, one of the Maker used their technology to rip the very essence of Davoth from his body and trapped it within a life sphere. With his essence stolen, the Dark Lord's lifeless body tumbled down the pyramid, while the Maker who had performed this act absorbed Davoth's essence and ascended into a new god, and he called himself the Father. Despite his newfound power, the father could not bring himself to destroy his creator. He instead journeyed through the blood swamps to Ingmor's Sanctum, a fragment of Urdok that had fallen into hell. There he built the Tomb of Souls, a prison to contain Davoth, preventing him from rallying his armies or returning to his original form. As the new god and protector of the realms, the father once again sealed hell from the rest of creation with a new, powerful barrier, leaving its inhabitants to their grim fate. Since Ingmor's Sanctum lay within hell, but rested on a fragment of Urdok, the demons were unable to step on it. They knew where their creator was, but could not reach him. Yet, Davoth was not entirely powerless in this prison. He still had the ability to see into the other realms and dimensions, where he whispered dark truths to those vulnerable to corruption and persuaded them to commit heinous acts. He sought a way to find someone or something capable of breaking the seal that bound his dimension, and when he was free, the Dark Lord vowed to unmake everything he had created. In the mortal dimensions, the Maker rewrote the story of creation. They claimed that the Father was the only god, that he and his angels dwelled in the heavenly realm of Urdok, and that the Dark Lord and his demons were consigned to hell. Only through the worship of the Father could their souls be saved at the end of their lives, and only then would they live eternally in Urdok. If they refused, their souls would be sent to burn for eternity in hell. The fall of Davoth the Dark Lord left a power vacuum in the horrendous dimension of hell. Many demons were eager to take his place, and with each new ruler, a new age. It is speculated by Hell scholars that the First Age was ruled by the Great Serpent. This reign was put to an end by the Guardian and its followers of Hell Knights. This began the Second Age, when the Guardian was defeated by the Dark Lord of the Third Age. Without a leader, the Hell Knights were forced to fight in the arenas of Hell. Hell's Fourth Age was ruled by the Nameless One. Anything other than this is a mystery. Hell was a realm of pure evil, and it thrived and grew stronger through the pain of those within its bounds. New regions formed as the landscape expanded into countless realms within the 9 circles. On the 6th circle, the archdemon Erebus of the Order of Six had the city of Dis constructed upon the ruins of Babel, where the souls of mortal sinners were tormented. At the top of Hell's hierarchy ruled the reigning Dark Lord, followed by the Order of Six. Although not a lot is known about this ancient order, we do know that they each had dominion over their own circle. They were born from the primordial Black Heart and were descendants of the 6 unholy bloodlines, the strongest of demons. Hell's horrors extended to places like the Black Soul Pits ruled by the Tyrants, the Slough of Torment, the Blood Pits of Angrax, the Lake of Fire, and the Penumbral Plains, to name just a few. The interference of the Maker had fractured this realm into unimaginable horror, yet even worse was to come. As more Hell essence was harvested from the souls of the mortals, Hell grew stronger and darker. In this structure, the lower demons worshipped the higher, one of which was the icon of sin that rested in the necropolis, who was prophesied to sleep until the call of ages came. Over aeons, the souls of new arrivals were tortured until no trace of their humanity remained, twisting them into new demons, and because of this, the population expanded. It is believed that during the First Age of Hell, as Davoth looked out into the Free Realms, he sensed corruption within the leader of the Maker, the Khan Maker. In his long-term plan to be restored to his former glory, he had foreseen a great warrior infused with power that would not only lay ruin to the Maker who had betrayed him, but also release him. Aware that she could be the one to help forge this warrior, Davoth whispered to her dark truths of an enemy that would take away her power. As the corruption intensified, and after the subsequent disappearance of the father, the Khanmaker agreed to a pact with the reigning Dark Lord in return for power. During this time in the earthly realms, the population of the planet of Argent D'Nur became loyal followers of the Maker. Meanwhile, Hell's armies had grown strong enough to break through into the mortal worlds once again. Without the Father to stop them, and with the cooperation of the Khanmaker, Hell claimed the souls of the fallen of Argent D'Nur to further strengthen itself. Under this pact between angels and demons, the city of Necrovol was built within Hell. This was essentially a slaughterhouse for the souls of those fallen in battle between the armies of Argent D'Nur and Hell. Inside the Soul Spires, the demon Calibus judged new souls, determining whether they were fit for use. Those deemed unworthy were discarded into the burning sludge of the blood swamps, doomed to eternal torment. The worthy were harvested into Hell Essence and merged with the energy of the Wraith, another powerful species. Hell only cared about increasing its power and allowed the Maker to use this energy combination, dubbed Argent Energy, to sustain the Maker species and the world of Urduk in the absence of the Father. In return, the Khanmaker offered Hell entire worlds of mortal souls to conquer. Through mass death, demons performed arcane rituals to create gore nests. These weakened the fabric of reality and generated direct portals to Hell, through which waves of reinforcements could teleport between. Hell also claimed the technology of these worlds to enhance its own forces. Within the blood swamps, demons and titans still tried to climb Ingmor's sanctum to retrieve Davoth's sphere, but they failed. From Argent D'Nur, some of its strongest warriors, the Night Sentinel, willingly entered the region to take part in the trial of Malagog, believing that the Father rested there. It was prophesied that a great warrior who completed the trial would gain access to the Tomb of Souls, yet many tried, and all failed, their bodies scattered across the landscape. During the course of these unholy wars, Davoth continued to corrupt the Khanmaker. He pushed her to care only about her own survival and that of her species. Under the influence of Davoth, he had the Queenmaker construct a machine powered by a shard of his essence, a machine that, if used correctly, would infuse a mortal with the power of a god. A warrior to restore him to his former glory, and this came in the form of a human marine who had found himself on Argent D'Nur. When he left the machine, he became something new. He became the Doomslayer. As the unholy wars continued, the Doomslayer fought alongside the Night Sentinel and they destroyed hordes of demons and titans. They even took their fight to Hell itself, in which they discovered the city of Necrovol constructed by the Khanmaker. While these forces did attempt to do the right thing to save the planet from not only Hell, but the corrupted leader of the Maker, the forces of evil were smarter. In a nasty trick, the Doomslayer and those of the Night Sentinel who disagreed with the Khanmaker were sent to Hell and left there to be picked off one by the population. Only the Doomslayer and Commander Valen survived. Valen retreated to a new life, while the Doomslayer grew stronger with each demon he slaughtered, and he became feared across Hell. Still, Argent D'Nur eventually fell to Hell's forces, and many of its regions, such as the Great Steppe and the Umbral Plains, were absorbed into the dimension. From the Great Steppe to Titan's realm, the human explored this dimension as he encountered imps, marauders, lost souls, titans, and beyond. Tempered by the fires of Hell, he scoured the Umbral Plains and hunted the slaves of doom with barbarous cruelty. He passed through the divide as none but demon had before. The Slayer crushed the obsidian pillars of the blood temples and set forth without pity upon the beasts of the 9 circles. In his age of reckoning, the scribes carved his name in the tablets of hell, and each battle etched terror in the hearts of the demons. He feasted on their blood and drew strength from them, just as Davoth had from hell essence. Despair spread before him like a plague, and fear forced the Shadow Dwellers to dive deeper into the pits. But from the depths of the abyss rose the Great One, a champion mightier than all who had come before. This beast fought with fury just like those before it, but just like them, it fell at the hands of the Slayer. It was only when the demon priests of the Blood Temples laid a trap for the Hellwalker within the tombs of the Bloodkeep that everything changed. When inside, they brought down the temple, and in this rare, weakened state, they entombed him inside of a cursed sarcophagus. The mark of the Doomslayer was then entombed upon his crypt as a warning to all of hell that the terror within must never be freed. And there he lay, in silent suffering. Hell had fought its greatest battle yet within its own dimension, and with the Slayer dealt with, they continued on with their goal, to kill and torture the realms available to them by the Khanmaker. It was during what is believed to be the Fourth Age that Hell made contact with a new mortal world. In the Earth year of 2145, humanity had reached for the stars and they had set up research facilities on Mars. The Union Aerospace Corporation was known for their advancements in technology, and one of them came in the form of teleportation, in which they discovered Hell through the Argent fracture. With the sense of the discovery of a new world to invade, a Dark Lord of Hell zoned in on one of the scientists, Dr. Olivia Pierce, and he saw the corruption inside of her that had grown as a result of her interaction with a Hell artifact, the Helix Stone. Over the UAC's expedition of Hell, they had brought back artifacts and demons to dissect, analyze, and study, in order to reach the local planet of Earth that had a much higher mortal population. The Hell Priest Daig Rannoch reached out to Dr. Olivia Pierce and presented himself as a Dark Lord of the dimension she studied. He offered her wealth, power, and everlasting life if she worked with him and allowed them access to her realm. What the demons of Hell struggled to contain was the UAC's discovery of the sarcophagus, in which the humans transported it from Hell back to Mars. By 2149, Olivia later agreed to the pact with the Hell Priest, and she unleashed a wave of Lazarus energy across the entire facility. This allowed the demons access to the human population for possession, and alongside them, cybernetically enhanced demons such as the Cyber Demon, Cyber Mancubus, and Revenant became powerful forces in Hell's army thanks to Olivia's adaptations. Although it appeared that Hell had begun another successful conquest, the release of the Doomslayer put a stop to their plans after he destroyed the connection between Hell and Mars. In a final bid to stop him, the Hell Priest's magic merged Olivia Pierce with Aranea Imperatix, an ancient mystical demon. It was foreseen that upon this union, this new form of the Spider Mastermind would feed on the blood of those who fell. This mighty god who ruled over all other gods was destined for greatness. However, the Spider Mastermind was destroyed by the Doomslayer. To the luck of the twisted denizens of Hell, the Slayer disappeared after this, and through the blood magics of the Hell Priests of Argent D'Nur, Hell's armies were granted access to Earth. It was here, through ritual sacrifice, the demons generated gore nests and opened up access to the whole of Earth for their kind. Even still, around 14 years after his disappearance, 14 years of Hell's consumption of Earth, the Doomslayer returns. Davoth watched from his life sphere as this warrior killed the Hell Priests and entered the holy realm of Urduk to confront the Khan Maker after countless years away, for she was in charge of the Hell Priests. To expedite the process of Hell's consumption of Earth, the Queen Maker planned to use a Titan, the icon of sin, to rip apart reality itself to generate a black hole that pulled everything into Hell. However, the awakening of a creature of Hell within Urduk was forbidden under the seal created by the Father. To get around this, the Khan Maker began a ritual to awaken the icon under the control of a mortal heart. The arrival of the Slayer ruined her plan. He stabbed the heart, and with it, the icon of sin, a creature of Hell, awoke with its own thoughts within Urduk. This action shattered the Father's seal and allowed all of demonkind access to the Holy Realm. From Hell, the Slayer had actually given them access to a realm they had been unable to break into, a realm that Davoth sought to destroy in his thirst for vengeance. The Dark Lord also watched as his warrior, created through his influence, later killed the Khan Maker, completed the trial of Malagog, and retrieved his sphere from the Tomb of Souls. The Slayer wanted revenge for all of the evil that this entity had inflicted on the world, and to do this, he planned to fight him in ritual combat, a fight to the death. Upon the resurrection of Davoth the Dark Lord, he agreed to this battle, for a prophecy had foretold that if the Dark Lord were defeated in ritual combat, every demon outside of Hell would perish, as they required Hell itself to survive. For Davoth, if he defeated the Slayer, there would be nothing in his way to complete his path of vengeance, to destroy everything he had made. In a moment that sealed Hell's fate, the Doomslayer used an ancient gateway, the Gate of Davum, to reach the city of Amora, in which Davoth and his demons waited for him. In an epic battle across dimensions, Davoth the Dark Lord fell to the might of the Doomslayer, and as a result, every demon outside of Hell was destroyed, and those within were trapped. If they attempted to leave the dimension, they would burn instantly. Because of the Slayer's actions and the death of the Dark Lord, the first god, Hell simply became the place where the evil souls went upon the death of their mortal flesh. Inside the Dark Realm, imps, zombies, demonic soldiers, lost souls, gargoyles, arachnotrons, dread knights, mancubi, and countless other demonic entities were left to exist. In the center of it all, the population of Amora had to once again carry on without a leader. As we shift to the original Doom series and timeline, those being Doom, Doom 2, Final Doom, Doom 64, and The Lost Levels, we revisit a famous John Carmack quote: "Story in a game is like a story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important." This quote perfectly captures the sentiments of the early era of the first-person shooter, and that was essentially what we got in these early games. Each game follows a similar story. The Union Aerospace Corporation experiments with teleportation technology. They accidentally access Hell and spark an invasion. In these early titles, Hell lacks an origin story, and the plot remains minimal. However, the gateways to Hell are marked with satanic imagery, aligning with traditional views of Hell as a place where the souls of bad people go when they die. In terms of Hell's forces, the games feature possessed humans, alongside lost souls, pinkies, and cybernetically enhanced creatures. The source of these enhancements is also never explained, but it can be speculated that Hell either used technology from their own dimension, or adapted the UAC's technology. An interesting element of Hell's power in these early games was shown in the Dimension's ability to absorb Deimos into its realm after the UAC began the teleportation experiments. In each game, the invasion was led by a primary entity, quite possibly the leader or ruler of Hell in that age. In Doom, it was the Spider Mastermind. After its death, the Marine was granted access back to Earth, yet the Marine discovered upon his return that she had already begun an invasion here as he had fought through Hell. In Doom 2, Baphomet, also known as the Icon of Sin, was capable of generating Hell portals to Earth. The Doom guy re-entered Hell and defeated the creature in order to save his world. In Final Doom, the UAC messed up again, and the Doom guy had to defeat both the Demon Spitter and Gatekeeper to save Earth from Hell's forces. The rise of the Mother of all Demons was great for Hell's forces, as she had the ability to reanimate the demons that had fallen. Unfortunately, the Doom guy entered Hell and killed her and her army. It was in this moment that the Marine made a crucial decision. He chose to stay. He recognized that as long as any teleportation experiment continued, Hell's forces would always return to massacre the innocent. Having lost his family, the Marine had nothing left to fight for on Earth. His determination and strength set him apart from other men. As he fought through Hell's forces, killing its leaders, the dimension grew weaker and fear spread. There was, however, one demon who knew exactly how to deal with the Marine: the Resurrector. She was the sister of the fallen mother of all demons, and this entity wanted revenge. In an effort to protect Hell from his rampage, the Resurrector used her power to launch the human back to Earth. The Doom guy did not like this, and he returned to the tormented dimension. In a final battle between the Marine and the Resurrector, the human landed a killing blow, but not before she used what remained of her power to throw him through space and time into another reality. A reality in which Hell had never heard of him, and a reality in which he would become the Doomslayer. He had landed on Argent D'Nur. Ultimately, Hell in this original timeline was portrayed as a nightmarish place of torment filled with grotesque caverns, ancient temples defiled by blood, and unimaginable horrors. It was a place for the Marine to rip and tear his way through in order to save Earth, many times. The story was limited, and the demons were just that, interesting creatures to kill. Aside from the lack of a story of Hell, the level names are references to religious texts and stories. The Slough of Despair is a reference to John Bunyan's 1678 allegory, The Pilgrim's Progress. The Slough of Despair is a location that represented the struggle of a Christian soul burdened by sin. Pandemonium is the name of the capital city of Hell in John Milton's Paradise Lost. This is a reference to the city of Dis in Dante's Divine Comedy. There are so many interesting level names of the Hell regions. I may just make a separate video exploring all of them. The Hell of Doom 3 was as horrendous as the Necrovol regions of the reboot series. There were lakes of fire, satanic glyphs, pentagrams, and the tortured remains of souls trapped within. Accessible areas of Hell consisted of floating, claustrophobic caverns, and in the distance, the screams of the damned echoed. Once again, there was no story, any real information on the origin of this realm or the creatures within it. Even the hierarchical structure of Hell remains a mystery. The introduction of Hell to humanity follows a similar structure to the original series, with a few key differences. The Union Aerospace Corporation set up a research facility on Mars. In their exploration of the caverns beneath the surface, they discovered the ruins and tablets of a lost ancient civilization. From these tablets, Dr. Malcolm Betruger and his team used the knowledge to develop teleportation technology, through which they accidentally discovered the dimension of Hell. They later learned that the tablets also recounted the ancient Martians' war with Hell and how they had crafted the tablets as a warning to any who discovered their ancient land. The Martians had stolen an artifact called the Heart of Hell before Hell could use it. This artifact was significant as it was designed to open gateways to the mortal realm. In their last stand, the Martians used another artifact called the Soul Cube to fight back against the demons. The creation of the Soul Cube came at the sacrifice of many ancient Martian souls, but it helped them seal Hell away. The sacrifice was worth it. As Betruger and his team explored the dimension of Hell, attempting to understand its secrets, the ruling entity of the realm whispered to Betruger. It offered him power, knowledge, and immortality in exchange for the Soul Cube and access to Mars. Betruger had witnessed the power of Hell as the team sent into the dimension return changed. Their mortal interaction with Hell's energies infected them. Their mental states declined until they became aggressive and hostile, ultimately transforming them into zombies. The UAC board grew concerned about Betruger and the rising death rate of those under his command. However, Betruger did not care. He was determined to explore Hell further. In 2145, he agreed to the entity's offer, resulting in a wave of Hell energy erupting from the teleporter constructed in the Delta Lab. The majority of those affected were transformed into zombies under the control of the demonic leader of Hell. As always, there was a Marine who discovered what had happened and was invulnerable to Hell's attempts of possession. He fought against zombies, ticks, cacodemons, and cybernetically enhanced demons such as the Revenant, Mancubus, and Bruisers. It remains unclear whether the UAC created or adapted these entities, or if they were formed in Hell from other worlds. As the Hell invasion intensified, it did not pull sections of Mars into the dimension. Instead, it infected and corrupted those on Mars with biological matter. The walls and floors of the facility warped into grotesque regions covered in skin, growths, intestines, and flesh. Betruger did his best to contain the connection between Hell and Mars, but the interference of the Marine led to the closure of a hellhole using the Soul Cube. In this moment, Malcolm found himself trapped in Hell but was offered another gift, to become one with the ruler of this dimension, the Maledict. In the Earth year of 2147, the Maledict and its offspring felt a new connection to the mortal realm. A team had been sent into the ruins of Mars, and one of the combat engineers discovered the secret chamber where the ancient Martians had hidden the Heart of Hell. Upon touching it, a new connection opened between the dimensions. Through another invasion attempt led by Betruger the Maledict, this combat engineer entered Hell with the artifact, and in a battle with the beast, he shoved it into the creature's mouth. This not only destroyed the artifact, but also killed the leader of Hell. The actions of another Marine once again sealed off Hell from the mortal realms, leaving the population inside to wait for another opportunity to attack. As of now, there are 3 distinct versions of Hell across the timelines of the Doom series. In each version, a human rose to fight against the demons and ultimately sealed the dimension away from the mortal worlds. The Hell of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal told a tragic tale stemming from the paradise of Jakad, which twisted and became corrupted after Davoth was betrayed. In contrast, the Hell of the earlier games was driven by a simpler, more primal desire to kill and torture, reflecting its inherent nature. At this time, Hell is contained across all timelines. In the upcoming prequel, Doom the Dark Ages, we may get an even greater insight into the Dark Realm, Davoth and its connection to the Khan Maker. These stories so far illustrate the hell invasions we know, of planets betrayed by one of their members corrupted by darkness, a selfish exchange in return for power, wealth, and immortality. In the future, we can only hope to see more of hell and the other tactics it used to conquer other worlds. This was a tough video to make. I wanted to explore hell, its connection to the earthly realms, what its aim was, the hierarchy, population, navigation, and general story. It was tough because hell is portrayed differently in each timeline. The reboot does flesh out the story really well, which is why those sections were obviously so much bigger in this video. The story of hell is also deeply connected to the Doomslayer and his story. I did not want this video to be just a rehash of the Doomslayer's journey, and I felt bad that I had to cut out huge chunks of his story as I really enjoy it, but this video was about hell. There will be videos in the future about the creatures and their roles in hell, but for now, I just wanted to focus on the dimension and how it differed between games. I also did not mention Mighty Doom or the mobile games, as their stories and interactions with hell are extremely similar to the original timeline. I think my final thought is that if we are able to learn anything about hell in the future, I would love to get a deeper insight into the Order of Six. We only know of Erebus currently, and I think it would be interesting to learn about these ancient bloodlines and their roles in the hierarchy of the doomed dimension. Personally, the hell from the reboot series is my favourite, and I think that is just because I love story and I like where it went. That was everything I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this video, then I'd love you to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you did not, and let me know in the comments what you thought. Finally, I'd like to thank my gold tier patrons and channel members: Jonas, Lewis, Queen Arby, Fluffy the Dragon, Ruben Mendoza, Oren X, Azu, Comfy, Yali Rodriguez, 500 vs Clone Boy, Drakey Phoenix, Average Soul, Jusper Timry, Imperial Embers, Jimsy, Canifex, and Dano Carl Drawings. Did you like that there was a story behind hell in the reboot series, or would you rather just shoot things? What is your favourite version of hell? And what would you like me to cover next? Let me know in the comments below. This is where our story ends. Check back soon for a new one.